Hello and welcome back to Where Are We? Today I am at Hope Recovery Community and I'm going to be talking to the founder of this nonprofit as well as check out the recovery farm.
So Stephanie Robinson, I'm the founding executive director at Hope Recovery Community. I am a person in long-term recovery. So for me, that means I haven't used drugs, alcohol, or engaged in eating disorder behaviors for 17 years. About 8 or 9 years ago, I was in recovery living in Medina and realized that there just wasn't enough support for people in recovery. It was hard to find recovery. It was hard to access recovery. You kind of had to get lucky. You had to have privilege. And so we started kind of plugging away at this concept of a recovery center. And then 7 years ago, a group of us came together and said, okay, we want to do this. And so we formed a nonprofit. We had really no experience in nonprofit, but we had a lot of passion and a lot of energy and found people in the community to help us that knew nonprofit. And so we put it together. We founded the organization. I founded it 7 years ago. And just to create more opportunity for people in recovery. And then it's just kind of exploded since then. And so every year we just continue to grow and continue to elevate into the organization that we are today. The holidays can be really hard for a layered amount of reasons, right? Like you had mentioned, alcohol is just super normal in our culture, especially seems heavier around the holidays. Holidays also generally bring out extra relatives or extra family members, and that can be good and that can be challenging. Holidays also come with this expectation often that it's going to be this Hallmark postcard movie type of thing that isn't reality. And so people, they struggle with that. There's also seasonal depression that can be really strong during the winter months, especially in Ohio and Northern Ohio. So what we really suggest is finding safe places, having like strong boundaries. And then we create a lot of events here. So this is a safe place that people can come that, want to find an outlet. So a lot of times people will go do the holiday thing and then they'll come here after or they'll come here before. So we just suggest just finding some extra support, finding some sober support, people that know what journey you're on. Sometimes people are navigating holidays for the first time and the people at the holiday don't know they're in recovery. And so there might be pressure to drink alcohol or pressure to act how they had acted previously and they're trying to act in a different way. So make sure you have safe people, whatever that looks like. And one is great, a few is even better, but you just need one person that you can check in and out with. I know my first year of holidays, we had like a code word if I ever felt uncomfortable where I was at. Some of my family knew, some didn't. We were creating new holiday traditions that were alcohol free. It just looked really different and it felt really different. And that's okay. It's not going to be easy, but make sure you have those safe outlets of connection and support. All of our pro-social events are really impactful for people. So everything we do around the holidays, the toy giveaway that we will have in December, that's been really impactful. Recovery Life is a life skill institute. That's really significant for people. Our jail programming, child welfare, family, recovery housing, and then the farm. Those things, so much of what we do impacts so many people. We record about 10,000 recovery touches per month. So these are 15-minute gaps of time that we know we're impacting people through all of these channels. And I think that's important because recovery is happening everywhere. It's not just somebody comes to the recovery center. No, recovery is happening in our community. Recovery is happening at work. Recovery is happening at school. And so we try to make it that we are in all these places. We started youth services 2 years ago, and that's been really good to partner out in the community with youth to talk about recovery and substance use disorders. So a lot of great programming that's had big impact in all these different places. It's not just about putting down drugs and alcohol, right? It's about learning new skills to navigate life in a different way. And oftentimes people were in active addiction at the prime time that we learn to adult. And adulting is hard, and so everything we do has skill-based approaches built into it. So we're always trying to create skills. A few years ago, somebody came to me and said, hey, I want to start a motorcycle shop class for people in recovery. It was okay. They're I can't do these things and not be around high risk activities. So I want to create that safe place. And so, ta-da, here it is. This is Motorcycle Rehab. They meet every other Saturday. And then every year we have a big motorcycle run. We had it in September. We had about 250 bikes. We raised about $70,000. That's our main fundraiser every year. So we've raised money to be able to get them all the things they need. This is a bike they worked on. And then somebody in the recovery community just donated this bike to us for them to like have another bike to work on, which is really special. On average, we're open Monday through Friday, like 7:30 to like 8:30 or so at night. And then on Saturday nights, we're open to like midnight, but generally all day, every day we are open. And they do vary day to day just based on meetings, but you can go to like Facebook or our website or call to get our operational hours. We are open 365 days a year, so we're open for all the major holidays. We're also trying to plug people into their like passions and their hobbies and their dreams. A lot of times in active addiction, people stop dreaming or they were never taught how to dream. And so people say, oh, like you help people, like their dreams come true. And I'm like, well, most of the time actually, we help people like figure out how they can actually dream again. And they find passions. They find, you know, at the farm, people just fall in love with the farm. They fall in love with the animal. They fall in love with the work. They find their passion. In motorcycle rehab, they find their passions. We're working on a workforce development program right now where we want people to find their passion. And if they can make that a career, right, that's great. Or can they learn how to cope with failure? Can they learn how to cope with different emotions, emotion regulation, a disconnect from immediate gratification? Everything we do is really skill-based to give them the best opportunity for long, sustainable recovery. The recovery farm, we're the largest non-clinical recovery farm in the United States that we've found. 17 acres, it's next to the hospital in the heart of Medina. 3 years ago, the Parks District, Friends of the Parks, the Mental Health and Recovery Board, and the Department of Behavioral Health, that's previously the Ohio Department of Mental Health and Addiction Services at the state, all partnered and said, we're gonna start this recovery farm. We had this wild idea that people laughed at, but now we're here. And it's this special place where people can recover in a farm setting.
My name's Corey Plews. I'm a person in recovery. I am the farm manager here at Hope Recovery Farm. It has been an absolute journey for me to get where I'm at today. 6 years ago, I moved to Medina and I ended up at Kathy's house, which is recovery housing today. And I went through treatment there and I didn't get it right away though. I was in and out so much. I just couldn't get it. But one thing that Hope Recovery has done is given me so many second chances. They never gave up on me. And I finally got it and they seen that in me. And one day they asked me if I'd want to be a farm manager here. And I took the opportunity and it's probably been one of the biggest God's blessings that he has ever given me, honestly. To be a guy that was the taker and took so much, and to be able to give back today and be the teacher and give other guys skills that struggle in recovery has been just such a blessing. It's such a beautiful thing today. And I think the most important thing is it gets me out of myself and it gives me a purpose. You know, not every day is a day end or a dead end. It's there's something to live for today and it's amazing. It really is.
It's got a 12-bed men's level 2 recovery house, so 12 men live there. Thanks to money from Medina County opiate settlement funds, we'll be making that 12-16, so we're renovating to add 4 more beds. We do gardening, so 40,000 square feet of gardens. Those gardens have produced over 11,000 pounds of produce in 3 years, and all the produce gets donated. Everything goes back into the community to combat local food insecurities. So it's just this beautiful picture of wellness and health and community where you can use people in recovery to support and make our community stronger and have fresh food. Last year we started with 1 produce pantry here where we deliver free produce into the community. Then the Medina Hospital was like, we want one too. So we put one in at the ER and it just was wildly successful. Then this year we worked with the Children's Center, Cups Cafe, the health department. We have 5 produce pantries out in the community this year.
So when I came in here, I knew nothing about farming, honestly. I didn't know much about gardening. I mean, I had construction skills, but other than that, gardening was a whole new thing for me, and the whole farming and taking care of animals. You know, it's been a learning process. You know, I think my greatest teachers here are the guys that come in here. By just jumping into it, you know, I got Johnny here that's in the garden that came in at such a right time for me, and I think God really brings those people into our lives, and he really helped me because he was like a master gardener. And then Mary here from Feeding Medina County, she's been an absolute blessing here. She does so much here, and she brings out people from Feeding Medina County every Monday, and she has taught me so much. She really has, and she's a master gardener. And it's still a learning process. There's something new every day I run into, but when we can all come together and work as a team, nothing's impossible here. Over here, the mini horse, that's Sonny, and this is Otis, our donkey. They're super goofballs. They're amazing though. They give us a lot of peace out here, honestly. They're amazing. It truly gets me out of me. You know, I think my biggest issue when I was out there, I lived in myself so much that I couldn't help anybody. This farm, it allows me to help other people. It's not about Corey no more, it's not about me. It's about the guys that come here each and every day. It's about God, it's about the community, it's about serving others. And it's really amazing that I have something like this to get me out of myself. It really is.
And so this fresh food is coming from this like collaboration of just epic kind of proportions in Medina, and it's really a beautiful thing. And then we have chickens. Huntington Bank just funded us to double our chickens so we can start taking eggs next year on a regular basis to Cups Cafe. So we're really excited about that. We process honey there, so we have 4 beehives. We also tapped maple trees. It's just this magical place where recovery is thriving, and I think it's also a magical place where Medina is seeing what's possible when we can collaborate and work together and think outside the box to really support all of our citizens, especially those that are most vulnerable, and it's just a real symbol of hope.
What are their names?
So this is Laverne here. He's a sweetheart. This is Bob with the horn. And then this is Bill, the one with the knot horn. And this is little Lil. She's the tiny, and she's so honoring. I love her. The black one's Gilbert. We got Petey, and we got Dodo. And then this is Checkers here. He's a young, he was actually born here. So it was really cool. I guess the guys, the residents, were able to like help nurture 3 babies. This is Shirley here. This here is Mocha. She's also one of the ones that were born here. And then over here we have Blanca. And she's a sweetheart. They're so lovable. They're like dogs sometimes. They really are. Huh. Oh, Mocha. Huh. Just sweetheart. Aren't you? Oh. Yeah, they're my buddies. You know, getting outside of themselves and giving them responsibility. A lot of us, when we're out there, a lot of us come from prisons and jails and institutions, and you know, I was homeless and I came from the streets, and I had no sense of responsibility or purpose. It's just a building thing for us, you know, our character, and to be able to do something bigger than us. And it's done well. I've seen a lot of guys come here and their stories are heartbreaking, honestly. And then they come here and I see them in the next few months of them being here just completely change. And it's greater than any alcohol I've ever drank, was to see somebody grow like that and get the thing and like start to like feel like they have a purpose and start to love life. They really, it's awesome to watch. It's one of my favorite things about this job.
If you're not familiar with the behavioral health system, it can be very complex. Mental Health and Recovery Board, you can contact the board and we will help you navigate through the behavioral health system to be able to get you into the services that you need. It can be very daunting to go through, so we want to make that trip easier. We want to make sure that people feel comfortable with that first call. Make that call and we can help you get to where you need to go.
So in the last 7 years, it's been a privilege to watch Medina County shift on their support of recovery. I think we always fear what we don't know and what we don't understand. And I've always said my mission here is like to create a community that no longer fears addiction, but embraces recovery. And I've seen my community do that, and that's amazing. But there's still a lot of stigma that exists. There's a lot of judgment, there's a lot of shame. A lot of people think that addiction is bad people that make bad decisions, not sick people that need treatment and healthcare. It's a disease. So I think that would be the number one, is that we continue to look at it as a disease model, that we continue to understand nobody wakes up and chooses addiction. Nobody wants, when I was a young kid, I didn't think, oh, I want to grow up and have a problem with drugs and alcohol. Like, that would never happen to me. But it's happening in our community, and we don't have to be ashamed of it. Like, it's okay, because there's answers and there's solutions and there's community and there's hope and there's a future, and there's a lot of people like me that are like, and around here that are just fully thriving. So I just want to encourage the community to continue to like believe in the power of recovery. And if you don't know, like, come visit, reach out and come see us or come to the farm. And, because that stigma still keeps, I think, a lot of people in our community sick. This is what a person who used to have a substance use disorder now in recovery looks like. And so I just keep showing up to show them the tangible hope of recovery. And we just keep showing up, and we keep staying mission focused, and we are committed to making Medina County a better place to live for people in recovery and not in recovery, because we all win, right, when we care and love each other.
My advice, if you're struggling with a drug overdose, is get in contact with HOPE, because they can give you guidance. They can get you in almost immediately if you're wanting to go to a drug rehab program. They do have contacts available on that aspect. And that's what got me into the program to begin with. Hope Community is helping to change the population's view of people that are on drugs, because drugs are an addiction and they are an illness, a disease, and it's nothing to be ashamed of, and getting clean is very something to be proud of.
Hope Link, it's a 24/7 substance use disorder support line. So we believe that seeking help shouldn't be harmful. And so what that is a phone line that's run by a trained person that's in recovery. And people will call needing detox, needing inpatient, outpatient, recovery housing, or they just don't know where to start, right? They're like, okay, I'm looking at my relationship with alcohol and it doesn't, seems to be problematic. And it's not a clinical line. It's a person in recovery helping another person looking into or seeking or exploring maybe recovery. And so it's this non-judgmental, safe place that people can really access help in a supportive, empowering, non-stigmatizing way. That line supported 831 people in the last year, which is a lot. People will call and say, okay, I'm in a hotel, I have to check out in an hour, I don't have a driver's license, I have no insurance, I have no transportation, and I'm ready to go to detox. A lot of people would get that phone call and freak out and be like, oh no. We get that and are like, okay, let's go, let's get to work. And then behind the scenes, we're filling all those barriers for them. We know how to get them connected to insurance. We know how to get them transportation. We know how to get them the basic needs. We know how to get them connected to that help really quickly in a trauma-informed, person-driven way. And so that's what Hope Link does. It's a really beautiful thing. And if they say, okay, I'm not ready today, we're like, okay. And then we just check in on, okay, tomorrow, how are things going tomorrow? And they're like, oh, I have 2 dogs that I need to figure out. And we're like, okay, we can help you figure that out. Or I have to go to court, or I have, and so we just navigate those barriers with them, and we don't shame them, we don't pressure them, we just try to support them in love. Sometimes our door is just a barrier. So people, because of stigma and judgment and fear, they don't want to walk in, but we still want them to get life-saving or harm-reducing supplies if that's what they need. So we have a blessing box that people can come in to get non-perishable food items. We started our Hope Hub, which is a harm reduction vending machine, about 6 months ago. So they can access Narcan here, safe sex kits, personal hygiene, fentanyl test strips, resources, first aid kits, just to make sure they have what they need until they're ready to hopefully open that door one day. The majority of our staff are in recovery. Everybody that works here at the center is in recovery. So the idea is that it can be scary to come here. It can be scary to show up any place new that you don't know people. It's hard to be a stranger, you know? But our goal here is to have a friendly, trauma-informed, inclusive environment. So when people walk in, they're met with somebody else that has that lived experience, that has navigated the holidays, has navigated recovery, has changed their life, has figured out the legal system, the healthcare system, the child welfare system, the whatever. You know, there's a different language that we speak. There's a different feeling and vibe when you're around people that have that shared lived experience. There's not stigma, there's not judgment, there's not shame. We're just like, come in, wherever you're at, right? We have people come here that are 5 minutes into their journey, and then we have people come here that are 50 years into their journey. And we just like love them all the same. And like, we wanna get you a cup of coffee or whatever, water or a snack, and just like be able to get you to connected to what you need in your time and in your way. There's no pressure here. You know, I've had somebody that they came into my parking lot like 10 times before they actually got out of the car and came in, and that's okay, you know, like, great, you know, I'm really happy about that because they finally arrived. And so we just want to be here and be supportive and helpful whenever anybody's ready to make that decision. Mental Health and Recovery Board is a major funder and supporter of ours. 7 years ago, the Mental Health and Recovery Board was who gave me the opportunity to start Hope Recovery Community. Without them, this doesn't exist still today. Still a funder and supporter. Philip Titterington, I was just with him this morning, you know, just believes in recovery. And that's so exceptional because we don't do reimbursable services. And so for them to invest in us is a real gift, and they've seen the return. They've seen the impact, and it's profound, and they understand recovery. But we also partner with the Medina County Health Department. We partner with Ohio Guidestone. We partner with Alternative Paths, Feeding Medina County, the Parks District, Friends of the Park. They're the main partners over at the farm. United Way funded our hoop house at the farm. United Way does financial coaching programming here. Cups Cafe, Spark, Let's Make a Difference. That's all of our youth services. I'm probably forgetting people, but we try to partner with like anybody we can. There's so many great things happening in Medina. There's no need for us to like recreate the wheel. Oftentimes we just have to bring those things here because people are more trustworthy to come here. So people will come here and do something sometimes rather than go to the health department and do it our people. But then we build that relationship and it makes them a safer place too. So we do a ton of partnerships and collaboration. So originally this was our front yard, but we outgrew our space very quickly 7 years ago. And so the Mental Health and Recovery Board made a commitment to expand this building. So we added 3,000 square feet 2 years ago. This is our main meeting space. So this can hold up to like 85 people, which is amazing. We have all different types of recovery meetings. We believe in multiple pathways and that one like size doesn't fit all. We also have pro-social activities. We have bingo, we have art, we have open mic night. A lot of times in community, you'll find alcohol and other things at different events. So we just want to take that out of the equation. On average, there's probably 25 to 30 groups, meetings, activities here a week. We just want something a little bit for everyone, family friendly, free, just to make sure that everybody has the support and the love that they need in our community.
The Saturday night meal is our night out now because it's a sober atmosphere.
It's our date night.
Our date night.
I will say this, in going there on Saturday nights, I talked to several people that, you know, are there for their meetings. They're very glad that other people will now talk to them. They get treated like human beings at Hope Community, and that's important.
So when we added our addition, this is our recreational space. So we have foosball, ping pong, pool, and video games. This is really nice because there's not a lot of places to do these activities in our community that doesn't serve alcohol. But a lot of people wake up without the basic needs that they need every day. We've gotten grants from the Mental Health and Recovery Board for the last 3 years to be able to create Hope Haven. They can actually pick up a bag off this wall and actually shop. They can use this twice a month. We just want to make things easy to access and make it an empowering experience. So they have a little bit of selection and they can pick what they need to support their family. We have programming for adults, we have programming for children. Our goal is to fill gaps that exist in the communities. We want to create opportunity for them to rebuild their lives and make sure that they have access to places that their kids can go, they have access to basic needs, they get connected to resources, they get connected to clinical services, and then they have community. Lots of ways to get involved. We have people that volunteer here on a regular basis, so they can call our center or visit our website at hoperecoverycommunity.org. We have a lot of people that volunteer at our farm. We also are, of course, always accepting donations, and we have event-based things. We're always looking for people to teach or do canned food drives or plasticware. So we try to have all these different ways that people can connect and get involved. We're just super grateful to the Mental Health and Recovery Board and to this county for supporting us. We have so much community support. And what that does is it shows people in recovery that they matter, that we care about them, and that we honor them as citizens like we do everything else. And so for those that are in recovery, I'm just like, y'all are just crushing it, and I'm so proud of that. For those that are curious about it, I hope like you reach out to us, and those that are supportive, I just thank you for caring about and investing in recovery for everyone.
Thank you for tagging along today. I hope you have an amazing day. We'll see you next month.